working all the chips in the BC. It is Saturday, the 3rd day of June, Anno Domini 2017, and you lucky people. You're listening to Sound Bytes. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Benright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 5 minutes after the hour, we're going to be bringing you news, views, things to choose, and nothing to lose. Kick off your shoes, don't get the blues. Here comes the news. There's a new piece of Android malware on the loose, and it's a doozy. Originally discovered by researchers at Checkpoint last week, the malware has been dubbed Judy, and is potentially one of the most widely spread pieces of Android malware seen to date. It's currently believed that upwards of 36.5 million Android devices may have already been infected. According to Checkpoint, the malware, which is seemingly designed to underhandedly generate ad revenue, was found lurking on 41 separate apps on the Google Play Store and was apparently able to skirt around Google's bouncer system. Notably, some of the offending apps have been available for download for years, though at this point it remains unclear if the malware was always present or perhaps inserted later on via a software update. The malware uses infected devices to generate large amounts of fraudulent clicks on advertisements, generating revenues for the perpetrators behind it, the security report reads. Once a user downloads a malicious app, it silently registers receivers, which establish a connection with the CNC server, command and communication server. The server replies with the actual malicious payload, which includes JavaScript code, a user agent string, and URLs controlled by the malware author. The malware opens the URLs using the user's agent that imitates a PC browser and a hidden web page and receives a redirection from another website. Once the targeted website is launched, the malware uses the JavaScript code to locate and click on banners from the Google Ads infrastructure. Upon clicking the ads, the malware author receives payment from the website developer, which pays for the illegitimate clicks and traffic. Google is aware of the malware campaign and has removed the offending apps from its online store. More than 40 of the apps were from the Korean developer Kiniwini, Kiniwini, which publishes games in the Play Store under the name Eni Studio, ENI Studio. The games, all of which feature a character called Judy, hence the name, have been downloaded between 4 million and 18 million times. As for the perpetrators behind the malware campaign, all we know at this point is that the malicious apps originate at that South Korean company and that it develops apps for both Android and iOS. So our poll of the week at soundbytes.org, that is Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you, is new malware hits Android devices. Your choices are, I have antivirus on my phone, I never downloaded a Judy app, I have no idea if I'm safe or not, and wait, what about the Judy apps on my iDevice? And, of course, we know you'll have more to say about this. So if you scroll down on the right, under Fascinating Stuff, you will see the forums. The second forum down is the poll discussion. And currently, at least, the first poll discussion item is 3 June 17 new malware hits Android devices. And, of course, you can give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll-free 1-800. 790-0415.
So are we going to get Elroy next and George and
Astro yeah. But here's and Jane and of course Rosie. I'm waiting for Rosie. Here's the question though, which wrong, which nobody has asked yet, which is this also in the iOS versions of the Judy apps? Because there are the same Judy apps are in the iStore, whatever you call it, the App Store, and nobody said a word as to whether or not. I mean, if they're not, I get it, but they would mention that, don't you think?
Yeah.
And so that remains quite an interesting issue. Now, we know that the iPhone doesn't do Flash. Or does do Flash.
Does not do Flash.
Does not do Flash. But that doesn't say anything about JavaScript or any of those things, which are not at all the same thing. And this thing uses JavaScript. In fact, I suspect that Safari, as with every other browser, does indeed use JavaScript.
Yes.
Because so much of the web has gone away from Flash and into JavaScript. So that's an issue that I don't know has been resolved yet. And when it was discovered, Google worked very quickly to remove all those apps from the App Store. But as it said in the news item itself, nobody's sure. Google and Apple both have vetting processes for apps, but it may not work quite as well in the update thing. So the Judy apps could all have been fine when you first got them, but as they were updated, some bad stuff was added, which of course, once it's updated, that updates the version on your phone and you get the bad stuff too. So there's quite a frou-frou about this. Now, the other good news there is that it's all in something called Judy apps. Many of us don't play games on our iPhones. Those of us who do generally don't play those kinds of games. But many people with kids, many people who like lighter game fare,
casual games.
Have played the Judy games, and there's a bunch of them, and all of them apparently were infected. And so if you are not running an antivirus program like Lookout or one of those, I would suggest you start doing so. If you go to the App Store and look for antivirus, you'll find a bunch. I mean, is this the App Store?
This is the App Store. I'm trying to see if they still exist. Unfortunately, there's too many things called Judy that I'm not sure which one it is.
Can you look for the for the owner, Kinney Winnie, or any studio, ENI?
I haven't seen any of those, but let's try. Yeah, ENI Studio.
Mm-hmm. And that'll tell you if they're still in the App Store for Windows. Or Kinney Winnie, K-I-N. Is that one?
No, that's a book.
Maybe they pulled them all out.
Maybe.
Rightfully
K-I-N-I-W-I-N-I. Kinney Winnie, all one word. It's a South Korean company.
Well, that's in a language I can't read. No, that's Mini Winnie.
I don't know. Maybe they took them out of there, too.
That looks Korean,
Good.
though.
But I know on Tuesday, when I first reported this story on Ask Nick, there I looked, and of course I can't download them or anything else, but I could see that they were in the store, so maybe they've been pulled out of the App Store as well. So that's nice.
Yeah, as soon as it got acknowledged that this is harmful, they due diligence, they went in there and pulled it all out.
But I don't see any of that in any of the Mac press, which I would expect to see if it did happen.
Well, yeah, you would think so. And I know that it was out there because I saw it out there.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that's about, but the various Judy apps, Judy Cooks, there you go.
That's from somebody, that's a different developer name, but there's a lot of these Judy apps that I'm finding.
That looks like the same character. It's very interesting. It certainly looks like the same character. Anyway, to the phones. Our first caller is Smiley from Rochester, New York. Hi, Smiley. What's up?
Oh, I got one for you.
Uh-oh.
A nice radio program for Linux.
Yeah.
It's called G Radio.
All one word?
Yep.
Gradio.
And I'm listening to it from the computer, and it's got that little station from Greece, New York, that carries your program.
Oh, no kidding.
And it is it's got stations from countries, states, all sorts.
Oh, you're talking about an app for Linux. A program for Linux.
Yeah, it's a program for Linux, yeah.
I'm sorry, I thought you meant a radio show about Linux. My fault.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Cool.
it looks pretty cool actually. G Radio, Gradio, whatever, it's probably GNU Radio originally, and it's a GTK3 app. So those of you who are running GNOME or XKD, I run it myself.
XKCD always comes.
Yeah, it's not XKCD.
Yeah, I think it'll run in any version of Linux. It doesn't matter,
Yeah, right.
And it's strictly. I'm surprised that it isn't for a Mac or on that. It said it's strictly for Linux, I guess.
Right. Oh, yeah, look at it. You can
Part of the problem is we already have iTunes on the Mac, so that's less of an incentive for developers to make third-party software when you've already got one from Apple to do internet radio and internet streaming.
Right. And yesterday I was running, I guess, Pythos, Pythos, and that's a Pandora radio client. Very lightweight, and it's a desktop thing, and it does everything you can do with the Pandora web client. Only it sits right in your desktop. So there's lots of stuff like that. And thank you. I'll check out G Radio myself, but you might want to try Pythos if you're a Pandora user.
No, I don't use Pandora.
There you go.
Okay, I'll let you guys go.
Thanks, Smiley.
All right, bye-bye.
Yeah, there are lots of programs like that, small, easy to install. Of course, with most of these, I haven't used G Radio, but I know with Pythos, it's right in the operating system. It's part of the load of software you get with it. So you just do apt-get install, in this case, Pythos or G Radio, and it appears on your machine, and you're done, and it's very cool.
I don't think this is it. That's all in Greek. It's all Greek to me.
What in heaven's name is that?
I guess that's Greek radio. Yeah, it is. That's the Greek version of it.
No, it's all one word, G Radio.
Yeah. So gradio.gr, if you go to...
Yeah.
You get Greek radio, yeah.
Yeah, that's not it. Back to the phones.
It is all Greek to me.
It is all Greek to you, exactly. Back to the phones. Our next caller is Gene from East Rochester. What's up, Gene?
I'm calling because I'm having some trouble with Outlook on a Windows 10. I previously had it on an old computer, probably a version very old. And it's not connecting my contacts. So
okay, is this an upgrade? Are you still using that same old version?
No, I'm using the 2016.
Okay, good.
It's just that I'm able to have it down. My old folders are down there.
Yeah.
And that's where I have to go look everything up, copy, paste it. If I send something from there, it won't deliver it.
And are these? I'm sorry, I have to. I probably was not paying enough attention. These contacts are from the old Outlook. They're not from some other program like Yahoo or Gmail.
No, they're from the old Outlook.
All right.
I just don't know how to merge them.
Do you still have the old Outlook on your computer?
No.
That's the problem. Yeah, you open the old Outlook and export your contacts, and then you open the new Outlook and import them.
Okay.
Do you have the old PST file from the old Outlook?
I don't know what that is. But
That's the data file that Outlook saves all the data in.
So somewhere on your machine, if you were to do a search for star.pst, can you hold on a minute, Gene?
Sure.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, Gene from East Rochester, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It is 19 minutes after the hour. It is Sound Bytes. It is member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bytes is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Why not let your favorite radio station treat you to 2-for-1 dining opportunities throughout the Rochester area? Make a pledge of $90, 10 cents or more, and you'll receive the Jazz 90.1 Enhanced Member Card. Good for the duration of your membership, and very good for 2-for-1 dining incentives in dozens of restaurants. Go on, give in to dining out and celebrate with a 2-for-1 steak dinner, sushi, or even Italian on us, Jazz 90.1, with more of the food that feeds your ears every day. Call 966-5299 or go online to jazz901.org and pledge $90 and 10 cents or more to member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Follow Jazz 90.1 on Facebook at facebook.com/Jazz901FM.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Fairport Canal Nights. Live evening concerts on Friday, June 2nd, featuring the Eastman Youth Jazz Orchestra, followed by Allegro. And Saturday, June 3rd, featuring Tegan and the Tweeds, followed by the Tommy Brunette Band. For ticket information, you may visit fairportcanaldays.com.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by City Newspaper on stands each Wednesday. City Newspaper offers full community music and arts listings, including music reviews from City's Frank DeBlaze. City also offers a look inside new restaurants and cafes opening in Rochester and more. For more information, you may visit rochestercitynewspaper.com or find them on many newsstands throughout the city.
Contributions over the years made through our pledge drives have brought great programming to our listeners. Creating a legacy gift to benefit Jazz 90.1 builds a bridge from one generation of public radio listeners to the next. Please remember Jazz 90.1 in your will, trust, or general estate plans and join our Jazz 90.1 Legacy Society. You can also find out more by visiting www.jazz901.org.
These days, it's easy to have information overload. Sometimes I just want to kick back, hear my favorite music and the news that affects me. That's why I stay tuned into my local radio station. When important news happens in my part of town, I hear it from them first. For the best entertainment, sports, news, weather, and traffic, anytime, anywhere, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text RADIO to 52886. Furnished by the NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply. Reply STOP to opt out.
This is Rob Linton, station manager of Jazz 90.1. Annual membership contributions and business underwriting keep our programming on the air. The future growth and excellence of our station depends on our ability to also build a permanent base of support through an active and successful legacy gift program. Please continue your gift past a lifetime by including Jazz 90.1 in your will, trust, or general estate plans, and join us in building a legacy of giving to support public jazz radio in Rochester. For more information on planned giving, you may visit jazz901.org or call us at 966-2660. Thank you.
And now, a check of your Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
We should see a considerable amount of sunshine for the day today across Rochester, western New York, and the Finger Lakes. Less wind than what we saw yesterday as well. There's no question that this is the weekend pick, with high temperatures into the middle 60s. We'll find patchy clouds and starlight for the evening, and then overnight an increase in clouds. Low temperatures near 50. Look for showers and a couple of thunderstorms for the day on Sunday. Highs will be into the middle 60s with additional showers to follow with a northeasterly wind Monday. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Right now we've got clear skies out there, 66 degrees out at the airport, and 70 degrees here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, I'm Jim McGrath, host of the Blues Spectrum. I hope you can tune in this Sunday evening from 7 until 9 for some of the best blues around here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 24 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes, and we still have Jean from East Rochester, New York on the line. Jean, you there?
Yes.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Do you have, by any chance, more than one user in Outlook?
No.
Okay, because sometimes what you find is if you look farther down the list on the left, you see something called the Microsoft account, and the old emails are there.
Yeah, I'm the only user. What I do have is something called sync issues, and there's thousands of them.
Have you ever looked at any of them?
It's a log, synchronization log, yeah.
What is the error?
Yeah, if you open that up.
Error synchronizing message, new home registry, PDF. And there's another one. Goes all the way back to December.
Here's the deal. It is likely that one of those PDFs, any one of those PDFs, will give you an idea of what the error message is. So you should double click on that PDF and take a look at it. It may be that you're not logged into your storage area on Microsoft, which would mean that it cannot sync your contacts back. So, it could be any one of 1,000 things, but you've got to open up those files and look at what the error is before you can know how to fix the error.
Okay.
And if you can do a search on your hard drive for a PST, star.pst, that would be your old Outlook data file. And Outlook has an import command where you can tell it to import your contacts from that PST file.
Yeah, that's what I thought I would find, but I've been searching for 6 months. Nothing.
You may have to turn on, invisibles and system files in your search preference. Because it's hidden in an invisible folder, typically.
Okay, so that search you want me to do is for .pst?
Yes.
Right, star.pst.
Star.
The asterisk, the shift 8.
Yes.
Asterisk.pst, for which stands for
personal storage.
Personal storage template or some. So
thing.
I don't know
Thing.
what thing.
All right.
Personal storage thing. Yeah.
I'll try some more. Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Let us know. Thanks.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Yeah. It's.
Yeah, and Outlook has always been one of the programs that stores all of your data in one giant file, which is very easily corrupted and very easily lost. Virtually every other email program stores all your data as separate individual files, so one corrupt email won't screw your entire database.
Right. It's just like the registry. Put everything in one basket and hope that it doesn't get screwed up.
The irony is it comes with an inbox repair tool. It expects your database file to get corrupted and gives you a tool to try to repair it.
Yep.
How about you just not let it be corrupted in the first place?
Right. Here's the thing. If you are using Windows 10 and you are not signing into Microsoft with a specific ID and password, then you're not syncing up to the cloud. If you were doing that on the old machine, it can't bring back stuff to the new machine or the new operating system or however you did that, because you have not logged in, and that may be what Jean's problem is.
And that could be all the sync errors she's getting.
Right, but she's got to open up those PDFs and look at them. So if you on your machine have a folder called sync errors, you should start looking at them. Start with the newest one. It probably will solve all your problems when you understand what it is that the problem is, and then fix that sync error. But she probably has one for every day since she has installed Windows 10.
Maybe even one for every mail event.
That's possible.
Every time it tries to get mail, it generates an error.
That's sad, but certainly possible.
Yeah. It's Windows.
I've also posted a link on our link list at soundbytes.org on how to show hidden files in various OSs. Because your PST file is in an invisible folder called local items with a random string of characters, and then it says Outlook.
Well, because people get into the habit of, as we said before.
So if you get in there and mess around,
click happy and
you
they
can
delete stuff.
make things worse. And so the OSs will try to hide important files. But when you want to find them for some reason, that makes it hard to find it on purpose.
Yeah. No, because I had one machine come into this past week, and it was a hot mess. I mean, malware Bytes alone found 4,554 items. And this other virus got in there and deleted his network drivers.
Ouch. So he can't download an anti-malware.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, couldn't get in. So I literally had to take the drive out, clean it up, put it back in, put the drivers back in, and then because I downloaded malware by Super Anti-Spyware from my machine, put it on there so at least had the current data files, and did it. But I think Super Anti-Spyware again found over 1,000.
Yep.
But they're running Windows 7.
Yeah.
And these folks, they get a little upset because you sit there and tell them, all right, it's clean, but you know what? You're playing Russian roulette here, folks. when you go on the internet again, once it leaves the shop, there is no guarantees that it's not going to get infected again. I can't. You're dealing with an operating system that is no longer supported. Unless you are, like we discussed last week, paying hard cold cash for that support, you're not getting support.
I just was listening to a podcast where they were talking about the WannaCry infection and the Google Docs infection and all the phishing things that come through email, and you click the link and you're infected. There's got to be a better way to verify the emails coming from your sender. Yes, it is. We have it. No one uses it.
Right.
And authenticated SMTP, signed email. It's a big pain because then you have to create a signature for yourself and sign it and a digital signature. And the way the internet works, there's always a fallback. So when you send mail, your mail server will ask the other end, "Do you support encryption?" And the other end can say, "Oh, no."
Yeah.
And then your mail goes unencrypted, unsigned, and you can't. And the big problem with the Google Doc scam is that it was a legitimate security certificate signed by Google from a malicious developer, and it was tricking people into turning over permission to read your email and contacts. It was named googledoc.exe.
Right.
Yep.
And it was an executable. So if you stop and read the question that for those of you who don't remember, a couple weeks ago, there was an email going around where someone sent you a shared Google Doc file for you to look at. And so you clicked on it to open it, and Google wanted you to log into your Google account with your Google two-factor authentication. And then it asked if you wanted to give this document permission to send and receive email and permission to access your contacts.
Yep.
Well, that half a second you should have thought, why does a document need access to my contacts? Would have told you this is not a document.
But again, people get so click-happy.
And then it gets into your documents and into your contacts, sends itself to everyone in your contact list, so then they get the infection from someone they know.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why we always say never click attachments in email, never click on links, never click anything in an email, even if it's from someone you know, because they could be infected.
Yeah.
Right. You can always send them a thing that asks for verification.
Yeah.
Did you send me this? And if they say, what the hell are you talking about, delete it.
Or, better yet, pick up this thing called a telephone. Give them
what
a call. Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah, that's where I get my mail, on my telephone. That's what it's for, isn't it? Yeah, I had a fellow this week. I went out to lunch 3 or 4 times with friends this week. Yes, I have friends. And somebody stopped me at one of the tables, said, listen, I got a computer question. I said, I'm at lunch. Well, this will only take a minute. No, I'm having lunch with a friend. Okay, this will only take a minute. Okay. You know what? At some point, I can either just slap the guy or just say, okay. So my machine is running slow. I'm running out of space. What do I do? Well, it was fine about a month ago, and now all of a sudden I don't have any space left and blah, blah, blah. I said, I think you got a virus. He said, no, I can't have a virus. He said, no, I think you got a virus. He said, I can't have a virus. I'm running Windows 7. I said, what now? He said, yeah, all the viruses have moved to Windows 10. My friend told me that.
No.
I said, well,
no, maybe all the new viruses, but all the billions of old ones.
You've got a virus. He said, no, I don't think you're right. I said, you know what? You interrupted my lunch. Yeah. You haven't even bothered to tell me your name or ask if I was interested in talking to you. And now I give you my advice based on 30 years of experience and you don't even want to take it? Why don't you leave now so I can finish my lunch?
Usually what I do...
I'm sorry, that just...
Sometimes I've had that happen, and I'll very politely say, gee, why don't you call... I'm busy right now. Why don't you call the show on Saturdays? We take questions then.
Yeah, call. Sometimes we'll do. I'll call my office.
Being rude,
our rates are.
Yeah, right. I just sit there and say, call Saturday on the show. We answer questions for free.
Yep.
But
right now I'm at lunch with a friend, and that's far more important to me than your stubborn nonsense.
Yeah, I've gotten that too, and
they won't take your advice.
Yep.
Oh, that's even worse. Like you say, when they'll argue with you, say.
Then why did you ask me? If you don't like my answer, go away.
Yeah.
I'm older now, and I suffer fools less gladly.
Yeah. No, I get it.
I can't do that anymore. I'm sorry.
If you're this curmudgeonly at this age, you must have really been curmudgeonly earlier.
I was. I've never.
Of course, we've been together almost 30 years now, right?
That's
We're coming
right.
up on our 28th anniversary on Soundbites.
That's right.
Yeah. 28 years this September.
You guys are old.
Thank you.
Yeah.
There's no question to that. All right, next news item. Encrypted information has been accessed during a data breach at the password management service OneLogin. All you OneLogin users, pay attention. It affects all customers served by our U.S. data center, they said, and perpetrators had the ability to decrypt encrypted data. Those affected have been advised to visit a registration-only support page outlining the steps they need to take. Security experts said the breach was embarrassing, and showed every company was open to attack. OneLogin is a single sign-in service allowing users to access multiple apps and sites with just one password. In 2013, the company had 700 businesses and customers and passed 12 million licensed users. Apps and sites integrated into the service include Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Office 365, Slack, Cisco WebEx, Google Analytics, and LinkedIn. We have since blocked this unauthorized access, reported the matter to law enforcement, and are working with an independent security firm to determine how the unauthorized access has happened, Chief Information Security Officer Alvaro Hoyas said on the company blog. We are actively working to determine how best to prevent such an incident from occurring in the future. Those who log into the site have been given a list of steps designed to minimize the risk to their data. These include forcing a password reset for all their users, generating new security credentials and certificates for apps and sites, recycling the secrets stored in OneLog secure notes, and changing all your passwords. And don't just add a 1 to them. Users
how about a 2?
What?
How about a 2?
No. No numbers. Some customers have criticized OneLogin for requiring users to log in to see their list. It's right in the name. You should know you have to do that. In its email to customers, OneLogin told them that because this is an active investigation involving law enforcement, there are certain details we can't comment on at this time. We understand how frustrating this might be, and thank you for your patience while we continue the investigation. Companies need to understand the risks of using cloud-based systems. Increasingly, they need to encrypt sensitive information before they put it in a cloud system and watch that their encryption keys are not distributed to malicious agents. It is almost impossible to decrypt data that uses strong encryption unless the encryption key has been generated from a simple password. IT security consultant Ben Schlabs has said that it was likely the compromised data included passwords protected using hashing, which converts the data into fixed-length strings of characters or numbers. The security of data would then depend on the length of the passwords and of the password hashes. He said, I would happily store my properly encrypted password safe in any cloud system because you don't know my password for that safe and I trust encryption. The strongest encryption system hasn't been broken yet and there's no sign it should be, he said. So do you use OneLogin? Give me a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll-free 1-800-790-0415.
Assuming that they were hashed, assuming they were salted, assuming they had a good hashing algorithm, what was that last breach where the hash was an old MD5 hash?
Yeah.
It was very easy to break.
Yeah.
And almost more frustratingly, on the OneLogin website, they don't have anything about this potential breach.
I looked at that last night myself, and I said the same thing. They don't mention it at all.
Yeah, shouldn't they be warning their customers on their own website?
You would certainly think so, but
That
I
looks
suppose
bad.
that would make them, exactly.
Yeah.
That would make them look bad. Everybody these days has multiple passwords, and I realize what a pain in the neck it is to remember a bunch of passwords. We all like to pretend we're stupid because that's more convenient and easier, and that making up long involved passwords is hard, and remembering them is hard. Well, you don't have to remember them if you put them in some sort of password safe, but you need to be aware that password safes can indeed be broken. So you want to make sure that almost all of them nowadays give you some sort of password to get in. If that password is hello or password or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, people will be able to break in a hot New York minute. But if it's a long and involved and really good password, then you can be secure. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, Nick Francesco. You 40 minutes after the hour. Soundbites member supported Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Soundbites on Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Frag Repairs in Rochester. Frag Repairs offers services ranging from PC cleanups and virus removal to custom builds and data recovery. Repairs are offered on-site in the customer's home or business with same-day service available. For more information, you may visit fragrepairs.com or call 210-3645. That's 210-3645.
Hey, at our startup, my team and I move at the speed of tech 24/7. Bottom line, I just want the news that matters. So I turn to my local radio and TV stations. I want to hear from people who live and work in my town, people I know and trust. For the best entertainment, sports, news, weather, and traffic, anytime, anywhere, I stay local. Support your local stations. Text RADIO to 52886. Furnished by the NAB and this station. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop to opt out.
Are you planning a vacation? Take the great savings you receive with your member card with you. Order a travel card to enjoy 2-for-1 benefits while you're away. Visit membercard.com/jazz901 to order travel cards and pay just a small fee to cover shipping and handling. You can also use the Member Card mobile app to take advantage of benefits at your destination. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Become a member today at the $90.10 level and above to receive yours.
Juice, Mom. Juice, juice, juice. Mommy, why are we going to the store? Mom, I want juice. Mom, juice, juice, juice. Mom.
Your child will have different needs at different stages of life, and that includes the car seat. See, car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by its members and by 585 Magazine. 585 Magazine focuses on the 6 counties of Greater Rochester, covering the diverse culture, destinations, food, drink, and personalities of our region. Their May and June issue highlights Rochester fashion styles, window shopping on Monroe Avenue, Geneva's thriving dining scene, the 2017 cocktail revival, and an overview of this year's mayoral race. 585 Magazine, on sale now at Barnes & Noble, Tops, and Wegmans.
June is Men's Health Month. Abdominal aortic aneurysm, also called AAA, is a leading cause of sudden death for men over age 60. Risk factors for AAA include family history, smoking, and high blood pressure. It is recommended that men between the ages of 65 and 75 who have smoked get a one-time ultrasound screening. Men with a family history of AAA should be screened by age 60. With early detection, the condition is treatable. For more information, visit radiologyinfo.org. That's radiologyinfo.org.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
We should see a considerable amount of sunshine for the day today across Rochester, Western New York, and the Finger Lakes. Less wind than what we saw yesterday as well. There's no question that this is the weekend pick, with high temperatures into the middle 60s. We'll find patchy clouds and starlight for the evening, and then overnight an increase in clouds. Low temperatures near 50. Look for showers and a couple of thunderstorms for the day on Sunday. Highs will be into the middle 60s with additional showers to follow with a northeasterly wind Monday. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got clear skies, 66 degrees out at the airport, and it's 70 degrees here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Howdy, folks. This is Dan Gross. You can listen to me Mondays 6 to 8 p.m. here on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 44 minutes after the hour, we are Soundbites. So here's an interesting email news item. Microsoft's Windows Insider program suffered an awkward setback Thursday night as the company released 2 different builds, one for desktop users, another for mobile, without apparently meaning to.
Oops.
In both cases, systems configured to use the fast string of the Insider program. Now, before you all start calling up You have to sign up for the Insider program. It's essentially the Windows beta program. If you did not sign up for it, this did not happen to you.
And if you do sign up for a beta program, you should expect things to not work.
Well, that comes out later. We'll talk about that. But at any rate, in both cases, systems configured to use the fast ring of the Insider program could find themselves downloading and installing Windows releases that weren't supposed to ship to the general public. For desktop users, the problem is merely an annoyance. The build taken from a development branch named RS Edge Case appears to work, broadly speaking, but may include issues that impact usability of your PC. Incorrectly using impact as a verb. Such issues aren't entirely uncommon on the fast ring, though this time Microsoft warns that such problems may be more numerous than usual. Anyone who installed the build can either roll back to the previous release or wait until Microsoft publishes a new fast ring build. This will happen next week at the earliest, as the company has said it won't be publishing any new builds this week. The mobile situation is a little more grave for the 4 of you who have a Windows mobile phone. Again, a build was released from a different development branch, this one named RSIoT, denoting that it's not even a mobile build at all, but rather an Internet of Things variant. Unlike the errant desktop build, this build isn't usable at all. Phones that install it will get stuck in a boot loop, and the only way to restore them is to use the Windows Device Recovery tool. This will wipe the entire phone and flash it with a working firmware. Frustratingly, if a phone has downloaded but not yet installed the bad release, Microsoft says it will still have to reset, clearing all the settings and personal data. There's apparently no official way to merely wipe out the downloaded but uninstalled files and forget about them. That's just unbelievable to me. Microsoft consistently warns that the Insider program is not intended for use on primary daily driver machines. Insider builds can break things that should otherwise work, and while Thursday's releases are more broken than usual, especially for mobile, the Insider program always comes with the risk that these things will stop working. Nonetheless, this is an embarrassing setback that may give many insiders, especially on mobile, pause for thought. Microsoft wants and needs Insider devices to be as regularly used and diverse as possible to generate the widest range of feedback. Insider builds need to be trusted to, or at least be functional. Even if they're not perfect. These bad releases break that trust, driving home the message that the Insider program is not a good fit for any machine that you actually use. The company has also said nothing about how these bad builds were rolled out in the first place, nor what is happening to prevent future recurrences of the same problem. And this is why the average person should never join a beta program. Are you a Microsoft insider? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll-free 1-800-790-0415.
Yeah. So people who like to sign up early for this stuff, the new Microsoft Office 2016, the auto update program, there's a handy checkbox there. I'd like to be part of the Microsoft Insider program and gain early access to updates.
Yep.
Yeah, why don't they call it I will crash your computer update program? It's a beta. It will, you're supposed to find the bugs and tell Microsoft, which means there will be bugs, which means your stuff will stop working. Probably when you least want it to.
Remember when they used to pay for beta testers?
Yeah.
I was a beta tester for several programs. Got paid, got free software, everything else. Now it's no, sir.
Yeah,
you worked for us for free, and
I used to do Windows. I did WinFax. I also did Norton, and a little bit for Corel.
Yep. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Mark from Greece, New York. Hi, Mark. What's up?
Hi, guys. I don't know if you remember. I don't remember so good anymore either. I called quite a few months ago where I had a problem with FSUSB exe disk.sys.
No, I don't.
And it says it's a digitally signed driver is required, and we talked about uninstalling it. I couldn't uninstall it, and it showed up every time I booted the computer.
Okay.
And we really couldn't figure out a way of getting rid of it. We did decide it was something to do with a Samsung device.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken. Well, the only workaround I've been able to find, and I wanted to let you know, is I had to turn it off from running. and that seems to solve the problem, and I haven't had any problem with any devices since I've done it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I turned it. I actually just turned it off, and it doesn't bother me anymore. And so far, all my devices are working fine. It's got to be a good 7 or 8 weeks since I turned it off.
Nice.
So I don't know if anybody else has had that problem, but that was the only workaround I really could find.
That's great. So
Interesting,
you
yeah.
actually stopped the service itself.
Yeah, I just stopped it.
Excellent. Good
And
point.
that doesn't bother me anymore because I couldn't find a one that was digitally signed. I couldn't find anything for this. It was like so meaningless to me what they told me, to uninstall the program, and Revo couldn't find it, and Windows couldn't find it. Nothing could find it.
Yeah, I'm seeing references that this is a malware program from 2009, which probably is why you can't find a signed version of it, because they didn't sign things way back then.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there have been cases where they have been signed viruses. So, malicious developer or developer gets their signature compromised.
Mm-hmm. That's quite a while ago.
That's great. You were able to remove that.
Yeah, the only problem, the only thing I know is this never happened until I upgraded to Windows 10. This never showed up. After my initial problem, upgrading to 10 with a boot problem and rebooting and everything booted up fine, that's when this showed up.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Windows 10 was problematic for a lot of people. Anybody who bought it on a new machine, it went up fine. Anybody who put it on a machine that they hadn't used much, and therefore the registry wasn't mucked about with, it went up fine.
There was a lot of issues.
But for everybody else, and it all, I think, comes back to that registry. Microsoft did an incredibly stupid thing by putting all the registry items in one registry, all those...
all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah, right. And all those driver files and configuration files and everything else used to be separate, and they are still separate under Linux. So both Macs and under Unix, so both Macs and Linux do it this way, so that if one program screws up, it doesn't screw up everybody else. But on Windows, just one thing will screw up everything, and you can also hide things in the registry. Easily, because something like this FSUSBX disk thing can hide in the registry and make itself, by changing its name, obviously make itself very, very difficult to find. So I'm glad you were able to turn it off and stop it.
Yeah, it doesn't bother me anymore, and it doesn't turn itself back on. So I just think Windows 10 didn't know what to do with it.
Right, that's very possible. Well, thank you.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, I emailed you last week after the show. I had found that article, and thank you for getting back to me on that, because I could see how people could be confused reading an article like that when it said about Windows 7 life cycle and what it said, that you're still covered even though you're not.
Right.
I found it very confusing, and I can see why people think that they're okay when they're not okay.
Right. This remains the number one bit of contention. Every time we say Windows 7 is no longer supported, I get a whole bunch of people, but I'm still getting updates. No, you're really kind of not.
Yeah.
And in that article, he made it sound like, don't worry, you got years before you're, and really, that's not the truth, and he didn't really explain himself well.
No, too many people don't have any idea. They see extended support and they think, well, they've extended support. What Microsoft calls extended support is not what you think extended support is. Extended support is support you are paying for. If it really is that simple. If you're not paying Microsoft money, you are not supported under Windows 7. It truly is that simple. People hate it, and they argue about it because they hate it, but that's the way it is.
Exactly.
And they may be seeing updates come through, but they're not Windows updates.
Right. They may be getting updates still to Office, which is still under
which is Microsoft. So we hear it all the time.
Right.
I've got Microsoft. Microsoft what?
Right. So Microsoft Office is still being updated. Microsoft Windows Defender still gets new versions of the engine as well as of the data files. But it is not updating Windows itself, and the viruses are hitting Windows, the operating system. Good point,
Right.
Mark. Thanks.
Yep.
But that's why I sent you that article, to see how misleading some of the terminology can be when people put out this information.
Right.
You know, I didn't quite know what to make out of what he was saying. It was just very kind of ambiguous.
Yep. No, I get it. Thank you.
But thank you for getting back to me on that. I really appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. Have fun,
Okay.
Mark.
You too. Thanks.
Yep. It continues to be the thing most people want to complain about. They want to believe they're still getting updates for Windows 7.
Yeah.
I sympathize with that, but you are not. It is that simple. You are not. You will get some updates. You will get extraordinary updates. You will get updates to things like Office and everything else. You will not be getting updates to Windows itself. I don't care what you think you read. I don't care what you think you saw. Microsoft themselves said when they updated Windows 7 to clear out the wannabe virus, they said they took the unprecedented step of releasing a patch for Windows 7. What that means in English is they don't normally release patches for Windows 7.
One thing
Done.
that might clear up some stuff for folks, especially if folks have the Dell computers. Quite often with Dell, you can sign up that it will go out there and look. When you get your new Dell and that, you can sign up and you might, again, because of being click happy, sign up that it will look out there for updated drivers.
Right.
So when you're getting updates, it could be through Dell that you're getting updated, whether it's a video driver or a network driver, some other revision that they put out there for that machine, that you're getting those updates. And folks think because it's my computer, they don't differentiate the hardware versus the software, and they just see updates. So they think Windows is doing that update to their video card or to their sound card or whatever, when it's actually the manufacturer of that particular machine, and it's the hardware, not the software.
Right.
Yep.
And they've been confused. I've seen a few
But
folks
they have
about
Windows,
that.
they're getting updates. That means Windows isn't being updated.
Oh, yeah.
Right. And they get very angry when I tell them they're swinging in the wind, and they are.
Talk to the
Oh,
hand.
well.
The face ain't listening, because, sorry, folks, you can throw out any arguments you want. You're just not getting it. The bottom line is they're
Unless
not doing
you or
are
the
paying.
company who owns your computer is paying for extended support, you are not supported. Done.
Probably
Done.
95% of the people that listen to the show aren't getting the support.
I'd say 99.
I was trying to be
And
generous.
We hear from customers who are running old OSs. Well, everything seems to be working fine. I don't need to upgrade. Until they come back, full of malware and phishing attacks.
Right.
And it's almost become an issue that the bigger problem is the user, and getting fake ads and fake email. We saw the WannaCry malware that came out was based on an exploit that Microsoft had patched that wasn't being installed.
Right.
And so even when you do get updates, it's not enough.
Right.
But not having the updates is the first big problem.
Right. All right, we're going to, that's it. That's it. We've wasted an hour of your time. But we're going to do it again, so if you hold on for a few minutes, we'll be back in just a very few minutes with Dave Enright, with Steve Ray, with me, Nick Francesco, and you. It is 59 minutes after the hour. You are listening to if you're on the line, stay on the line. We'll get to you in a minute. Well, you're listening to the longest-running computer show in the known universe. It's Sound Bytes, and the truly great and truly grateful to you that we are member-supported Jazz 90.1. We will see you on the other side.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Sound Bites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
This is 90.1 WGMC Greece Rochester, a public service of the Greece Central School District and official media partner of this year's Xerox Rochester International Jazz Festival. Jazz 90.1.
Online at jazz901.org.
The special counsel investigating ties between President Trump's campaign and the Russian government is reportedly expanding his investigation. The Associated Press has learned that Robert Mueller has now taken over a separate criminal investigation involving Paul Manafort, the former chairman of the Trump campaign. U.S. Defense Secretary Jim Mattis told an international security conference in Singapore Friday that the U.S. is not happy about China's continued military buildup on islands in the South China Sea.
We oppose countries militarizing artificial islands and enforcing excessive maritime claims unsupported by international law.
During a speech, Mattis called North Korea a clear and present danger to the world. And White House spokesman Sean Spicer says he doesn't know what President Trump believes about climate change. He told reporters Friday, "I have not had an opportunity to have that discussion with the president." EPA Chief Scott Pruitt also wouldn't answer reporters' questions. I'm Christopher Cruz.
Push, push. You're doing great.
Little pig, let me in.
What are you doing?
Accelerating our baby's brain development?
Now?
Well, research says read from birth, so...
It's never too early to start reading to your baby. 15 minutes a day can give them a head start in school and life. Read aloud 15 minutes. Every child, every parent, every day. ReadAloud.org.
Jazz 90.1 is pleased to again present summer and fall jazz cruises aboard the Colonial Belle in Fairport. Cruises set sail Mondays, June 12th, July 10th, August 14th, and September 11th. Each cruise features live jazz or blues, all while traveling the Erie Canal from Fairport to Shawn Place in Pittsford and back. Cruisers also enjoy great food and a cash bar on board. Tickets are $30 per person and are on sale now. You can also purchase the Jazz 90.1 Cruise Pack, including one pair of tickets to each cruise for only $220 while supplies last, a savings of $20. Performers include the Smugtown Stompers with Carol Mulligan in June, the Bill Tiberio Trio in July, Jive Street 5 in August, and our first ever blues cruise featuring Steve Grills and the Roadmasters in September. Come aboard in Fairport, just 20 minutes from Rochester, for a beautiful and jazzy evening on the Erie Canal. For tickets, call 966-2660 or visit jazz901.org.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. I drive 200 miles an hour for a living, so it makes sense that I have life insurance, but so many people don't. That's just an unnecessary risk. It means leaving your loved ones to suffer financially if something happens to you. It's a struggle my family knows. As teenagers, both my parents lost their fathers. Neither had life insurance. Don't take that risk. Get life insurance. For help, go to lifehappens.org.
A public service message from the nonprofit Life Happens.
As soon as you play, I'm playing. I'm saying my first drum, second's your first beat. I'm saying first, you 2 feet, then we might stand up. Like first you get your hands, then I get your hands up. My sound, your throat, my dance, your feet. You hear my no heartbeat. The metronome in your chest keeps you in time till there's no time. So you sing till you got no breath, and whoever's next dances to the song you've left. Music creates movements, inspire movements. Where I am, you've been. There is you, then there is music. Music follows you.
As a parent, it's what you do.
You protect your children.
You teach them how to brush their teeth,
how to wash their hands,
to look both ways when crossing the street.
And you vaccinate them.
There wasn't a vaccine to protect against strain B, meningococcal disease, when my daughter died.
When my daughter died.
When my daughter died.
But now there is.
Just get the facts and vaccinate. It's the right thing to do.
The National Meningitis Association website, nmaus.org, has details about the 2 vaccines that protect preteens and teens.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Sound Bytes, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbytes.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
And welcome back to this edition of Sound Bytes. You're hurtling back into the second hour. And I'm Dave Enright.
I'm Nick Francesco.
And I'm Steve Wright.
And we're slowly getting back into position. As we stated before, we're all older. So it takes us a little bit longer to get from point A to point B, because the time frame between these breaks is shorter.
And don't even mention point C.
Oh, that's not even on the map. I'm sorry. That's somewhere's out in the parking lot. I don't even look for that one.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey,
I didn't think I was going to take quite that long, but
hey,
I am older.
We all.
So
I'm older than all of you.
That's true. All right, we're back. And our next caller is Steve from Greece, New York. What's up, Steve?
Oh, good afternoon, gentlemen. I have a couple of questions, if I may. The first is from Advanced Free Antivirus. I like the program, but it keeps coming up and saying you've got issues, click on this to repair and all of that. One of them is duplicate apps that I'm running. Now, I don't know what to do with the information. I get when I click on it, it gives me a border and then a string of D0498 space E0, et cetera, I have no idea what to do with that.
What operating system are you on?
Windows 10.
Okay. That's a good question.
See, here's the thing, though, that I've seen, because I've got a Vast. And again, it's just promotional stuff. You know, I get the warnings all the time because they're saying, oh, yeah, you got these other apps that'll run it, and you got all this junk files and everything else.
We can clean up a little space on your hard drive.
And again, because you're running the free version, they don't derive any benefit from you staying on the free version. Whereas if they can upgrade you to a paid version, it's win for them.
And if it says you have duplicate apps, it should give you the name of the app that is duplicated.
No, that's why they want you to pay. So that they won't show you that stuff. You got to actually.
Are you using the firewall?
Yes.
Oh, there you go. I hate to tell you this, but what you want to do is delete all your firewall rules, reboot. It'll ask you if you want a new firewall. You say yes. Somewhere along the line, what you did was duplicate a rule, and it's confused now.
Okay.
So theoretically, if you delete all your rules, reboot, it will ask you if you want to. What do you want to do about the firewall? Turn it back on, create new rules, and if you're careful, you should be fine.
Okay. Now, I'm using Zone Alarm. I'm presuming that's.
Well, you don't need both.
Right, but I turned off Windows.
Well, Windows has one, Avast has one, and Zone Alarm has one. So maybe what Avast is telling you is you have two firewall programs running.
Right, but to my knowledge, and I don't have it up in front of me, to use the Avast, firewall, you actually have to purchase the
I honestly don't remember what parts are paid and what parts are free. Yeah. So at the very least, check to see, and then check in, and check that the Windows one is off as well. And because what it sounds like, I've seen this error message, but I've only seen it for the firewall.
Okay, I will certainly look into that. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, and it may be that you're in the free trial period. When you download the free version, they automatically give you a free trial of the pay version.
Right.
And then they give you basically ads to make you want to pay for the pay version.
Well, I've been on this since they first, it's been over a year, so I'm pretty sure I'm out of that.
Right.
I have another question for you that I challenge you. I think this will be a challenge. So I have a desktop and I have a laptop. They are running almost identical apps. I have, on my desktop, if I have two windows open simultaneously, a web browser, say an Excel file or Notepad++ or something like that. If I am entering data on my Excel file, all I have to do is move my cursor over the web browser, and I can use my mouse wheel and thumb through the browser.
Yeah.
and vice versa. If it's just over it, not clicked on it, I can just thumbnail or that thumb wheel browser. On my laptop, I physically have to click or Alt-Tab
Yep.
to add it. What is the difference? Why is there a difference?
There is a section in your mouse system somewhere that says focus follows mouse cursor.
Okay.
And on one, it's turned on. And so when you move the mouse cursor over to the other window, it becomes focused. That is to say, it becomes usable.
Right.
And in the other one, it's turned off. And when you move the mouse over until you click, it does not receive focus.
Oh, you guys, I wanted to really challenge you. All right.
I'm sorry.
I'm glad. Thank you. That's been just a pain in the butt. Haven't been racking my brain trying to figure out what's going on. You guys are just the best.
Oh, thank you so much. That's what we like to hear.
The check is in the mail. No, the check is already in the mail. You should have gotten it by now.
Oh,
All right.
no.
Send more.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Have a good holiday.
Thanks, Steve. You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, it's there are lots of little tiny things in Windows that you can do, and that's one of them. I'm not a fan of focus follows mouse because if I'm typing, for example, I like to throw the mouse out of the way so that cursor gets out of the way as soon as possible. And so I'm typing away and that cursor's somewhere else. Sometimes it's in another window, and I don't want that one turning on. I turn off focus follows mouse. But you can turn that on easily enough, and clearly Steve had it on one machine and off on the other. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Vic from Arundecoit, New York. Hiya, Vic. What's up?
Nick, you were talking earlier about Lookout, mobile security.
Yeah.
The week before, you were pushing Sophos stuff.
No, somebody asked about Sophos.
Yeah.
So I was talking about it.
Okay, I wasn't on because I listened to the music, so I couldn't tell what you guys were doing.
Right.
So comparing them, what would you think?
I have been using Lookout for the longest time because, originally it was the only one. So I started using it, and I paid for it, so it's got a lot of additional features, like Find My Phone, Wipe My Phone.
Yeah, Lookout is more for mobile, and Sophos is more for desktop.
Well,
Right.
It's got both. No, Sophos,
Right, no, Sophos has both.
mobile for Android and iOS.
But because, really it's because it was the first one and I used it first. Both are good, but I like once I paid for it, I really like the extra features of Lookout.
And it's a great Monty Python sketch.
And it's a great Monty Python sketch. So one of the things that you can do that I really have found useful lately is you can make your phone scream.
Scream.
Yeah, so I was sitting in my house. I went to get my phone, and I didn't know where it was. So I signed into Lookout and said, make my phone scream. And all of a sudden, I heard this loud sound. Turns out one of my cats had batted my phone into the wastebasket.
I like that feature. That sounds great.
Yeah. Well, it certainly was useful yesterday.
Yeah, because we all kind of misplace it every now and then.
Yep. So, yeah, it was really nice. It also has a Find My Phone so that it'll look for it. It also has something called Flare. And what that is if your phone is about to run out of battery, it sends up a flare. That is to say, it registers its last location with Lookout. And so you can go on the website and see where your phone was the last time it had a battery.
Wow, that's pretty cool. You made up my mind for me.
There you go.
Lookout is a deal.
Check it out. It's a Lookout mobile security, and it's I think just lookout.com, I think.
Yeah, I saw it on Google Play.
Yeah, it's very, very cool. And like I said, you got to pay to get all those features, but I think they're worth it.
Yeah, I especially like the one where Find My Phone and making it scream. I mean, because we all misplace the phone. Every now and then you put it someplace you don't even think about it. And,
right, and as the highest level of security, you can wipe your phone out from the software.
Now, when this says Find My Phone, how close does it say, like, in the first floor of the house, in the backyard? I mean,
it doesn't do it doesn't do elevation.
Okay.
Okay, so it'll tell you it's in your house, but it's not going to tell you it's on the third floor or on the desk. It's not going to tell you that. But it does do pretty. I mean, if I look at that thing, I'll say, "Oh, it's in my house," or clearly I left it at this restaurant or in my car. That sort of fare.
I have seen my driveway is far enough away from the house that it does let me know whether it's in the car or somewhere else in the house.
Right, and
or at work. Damn it.
Exactly. So it's not going to pinpoint it to the drawer you put it in, but it's going to tell you at least what property it's on.
Oh, that's close enough.
Yeah, and the big thing is, of course, it works just like any other GPS item. You're good to within, what is it now, 3 meters, 5 meters, something along that line.
Right.
It's 5 meters, so it's close enough. Obviously, if you look at the thing and it says it was here, you go, oh, that's I left it in the theater. Right.
You're out of luck then.
Well, it depends. I know people
Yeah.
who've I've personally turned in phones to the lost and found at the theater. So it's close enough. It's not going to get you. It's not TV movie magic.
Yeah, it's not pinpoint. Oh, it's over here on this
You're
dresser.
within 2.5 meters and it's slightly west of you. No.
Yeah.
But it will say, it's at this property.
At least you can rest assured that,
10
especially if it's in the
area.
house,
And then
at least it's here in the house that I got to look for.
Yeah, then you I had to turn on the audio so you can find it.
Right, then have it scream at you.
Yeah. Well, with that screening feature, I kind of really like that because if it's in the house and you activate that, you should be able to find it unless you live in a 30-room mansion. Then it's a little tough.
Yeah, right.
Well, then you just buy another phone.
Well, and then your house is big enough that you'll know which end it's at.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks, guys.
All right, thanks. I just buy another phone. Or buy a phone company. What the hell?
Yeah.
When I first got Lookout, I mainly got it because people kept asking me, is there anything? And it was the only thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I tested it, and then I kind of thought, wow. And every time I download an app, it provides a report. Checking this app is safe.
Mm-hmm.
Every week, I think it is, I get a report, 483 apps checked, all are safe, whatever the report is. And if you log on to the website itself, you can do all those additional things, like have it scream at you, and I'm looking at it right now, and it's pinpointing my phone. It takes a little while to load the account. They have an awful lot of accounts, but it knows.
Well, it's good then. That says a lot for the company. It's got that many.
Again, it's GPS location, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're sitting in the basement somewhere, or like here, we're in kind of in a Faraday cage, it's pretty unlikely that it will find me. But I can have my phone scream. When you pay for it, you can have it lock or unlock your phone, lock your phone or wipe your phone, and you can have multiple devices. And it can back up your device even. So, again, I'm paranoid enough that I have Google back up my phone, I back up my phone, and I have Lookout back up my phone, so that I am never going to lose the stuff I've got in there. I've got pictures of my daughter. There's nothing more important on earth than that. It's worth whatever I pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
especially the pictures.
Yeah.
I've told folks constantly, if you're backing anything up, the first thing you want to think about, the most important, is pictures.
They found me.
Documents you can always recreate.
Yep.
Pictures you can't, especially old ones. Childhood memories and everything else. Once they're gone, folks. And too bad, so sad.
Yep. That's why I backed up stuff to my phone from the day my daughter was born on. It goes all up to Google Docs, Google Photos. And, of course, I download that stuff and burn it to CDs and all those other things. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Back in just while I let my phone scream at me. Back in just a couple of minutes. Dave Enright, Steve Ray, Nick Francesco, and you 19 minutes after the hour. Soundbites, member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More Soundbites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Soundbites on Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Frag Repairs in Rochester. Frag Repairs offers services ranging from PC cleanups and virus removal to custom builds and data recovery. Repairs are offered on-site in the customer's home or business with same-day service available. For more information, you may visit fragrepairs.com or call 210-3645. That's 210-3645.
As a Jazz 90.1 listener, you have the ability to leave a lasting gift to the jazz community. By making a planned gift, you can support Jazz 90.1 for many years to come. For more information, contact your financial advisor or call 585-966-2660. You can also find out more about planned giving by visiting www.jazz901.org.
What's small, pretty, and worth lots of money? It's the Jazz 90.1 Enhanced Member Card, and now it's worth more than ever with the addition of 35 wineries to the list of restaurants, stores, and other businesses in the Rochester area, discounting prices exclusively to members of Jazz 90.1. You can even use your card when you travel in the U.S. It's a great way to reward yourself, all while supporting Jazz 90.1. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Well, get one by making a pledge of support at the $90 10-cent level or above to Jazz 90.1. For more information on becoming a member, call 966-5299 or pledge online at jazz901.org.
I'm a college student and could use advice about my student loan.
I had to leave school, but I still have student loans to pay back.
I graduated and got the help I needed to pay back my loan in full.
We're the NFCC, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, with member offices nationwide that provide comprehensive financial reviews and student loan counseling. Call 877-406-6322 or visit us online at studentloanhelp.org.
Juice, Mom! Juice, juice, juice!
Mommy, why are we going to the store?
Mom, I want juice!
Mom!
Juice, juice, juice!
Mom!
Your child will have different needs at different stages of life, and that includes the car seat. See, car crashes are a leading killer of children ages 1 to 13. Protect your child's future at every stage of life. Go to safercar.gov/the-right-seat.
A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We will never fully understand what we've asked of our military service members or their families, asking them to put themselves in harm's way, to endure it all. But we do understand that it's our turn, our duty, to keep them secure for the rest of their lives. Wounded Warrior Project long-term support programs help our most severely ill or injured veterans live independently, at no cost, for life, so that they might stand at ease. Join us at findwwp.org.
June is Men's Health Month. Abdominal aortic aneurysm, also called AAA, is a leading cause of sudden death for men over age 60. Risk factors for AAA include family history, smoking, and high blood pressure. It is recommended that men between the ages of 65 and 75 who have smoked get a one-time ultrasound screening. Men with a family history of AAA should be screened by age 60. With early detection, the condition is treatable. For more information, visit radiologyinfo.org. That's radiologyinfo.org.
Jazz 90.1 weather.
We should see a considerable amount of sunshine for the day today across Rochester, western New York, and the Finger Lakes. Less wind than what we saw yesterday as well. There's no question that this is the weekend pick, with high temperatures into the middle 60s. We'll find patchy clouds and starlight for the evening, and then overnight an increase in clouds. Low temperatures near 50. Look for showers and a couple of thunderstorms for the day on Sunday. Highs will be into the middle 60s with additional showers to follow with a northeasterly wind Monday. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And right now we've got clear skies, 67 degrees out at the airport, and 70 degrees here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Otto Bruno. Join me every Sunday from 12 to 2 on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Van Wright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 24 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes. By the way, I'm going to let my device scream. I'm on personal.outlook.com. I've logged in. I've hit screen. It says scream. Your device will play a loud sound even if it's on silent. Click continue. It says, are you sure you want to make your device scream? And then you have to click yes, scream. And now it'll take a few moments. It's been queued. And, of course, like I said, we're in a Faraday cage, so you don't always immediately get a response. when we're in here. Also, my phone is silenced. So those of you who call me during the show, I do not hear it. I do not get it. So stop. And in a few moments, that scream will occur. Like I said, we're in a Faraday cage here, so here it goes.
As soon as you give up. And if you're driving now, that is not a police officer behind you.
Yeah, right. And then I have to click stop screaming for it to go away. But that's what this lookout thing does, and it's I forget how much it is to buy it, but it's not expensive, and for all that you get, are you insane? It's way worth it. So you can click on get more protection, and it's $30 a year. That was it. And right now, in fact, it's 16% off. Or, of course, you can pay $3 a month or whatever you want to do. But Lookout Premium is well worth it. It's a very cool program. It's a very nice program. And you can put it on multiple devices. So, you can put it on your and multiple Android devices. So if you've got a phone and a tablet and whatever, you can do that. If you've got multiple phones, I suppose you could put it on multiple phones and then always know where your children are. That's a little sneaky. But it's certainly doable.
We used to tell parents that in the early days of the iPod Touch, which is basically the phone without a phone in it,
right,
to let the kid listen to music and play games. Well, you know about the Find My Phone feature that lets you track your lost phone? Well, it doesn't actually have to be lost for you to use it. It can be in your kid's pocket, and you'll find where the phone is.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, yeah, there's some pretty very cool features in Lookout that I like a lot. For you Google fans, Google will introduce an ad blocker to Chrome early next year and is telling publishers to get ready. The warning is meant to let websites assess their ads and strip any particularly disruptive ones from their pages. That's because Chrome's ad blocker won't block all ads from the web. Instead, it'll only block ads on pages that are determined to have too many annoying or intrusive advertisements, like videos that autoplay, which is the single most annoying thing I've ever seen.
And then the ones that follow you down the screen as you try to scroll away.
Right. They autoplay with sound or interstitials that take up the entire screen. Sridhar Ramaswamy, the executive in charge of Google's ads, writes in a blog post that even ads owned or served by Google will be blocked on pages that don't meet Chrome's guidelines. Instead of an ad blocker, Google is referring to the feature as an ad filter, since it will still allow ads to be displayed on pages that meet the right requirements. The blocker will work on both the web, desktop and mobile Chrome browsers. Google is providing a tool that publishers can run to find out if their site's ads are in violation and will be blocked by Chrome. Unacceptable ads are being determined by a group called the Coalition for Better Ads, which includes Google, Facebook, News Corp, and the Washington Post as members. That tool is called Ad Experience, and it's part of Google's Webmaster Tools. I tried it last night. It's not quite yet running, but when it is, it'll tell you. You can test your site to see if it is in fact in violation of the rules. It's called Ad Experience, and it's part of Google's Webmaster Tools. If you're not a webmaster, don't worry about it. You can't run this. The feature is certain to be controversial. On the one hand, there are huge benefits for both consumers and publishers, but on the other, it gives Google immense power over what the web looks like, partly in the name of protecting its own revenue. First, the benefits. Bad ads slow down the web and make the web hard and annoying to browse, and have ultimately driven consumers to install ad blockers that remove all advertisements no matter what. A world where that continues and most users block all ads looks almost apocalyptic for publishers, since nearly all of your favorite websites rely on ads to stay afloat. Full disclosure, Ask Nick, Soundbites, and the Security Tango are included in that category. By implementing a limited blocking tool, Google can limit the spread of wholesale ad blocking, which ultimately benefits everyone. Users get a better web experience, and publishers get to continue using the ad model that served the web well for decades, though they may lose some valuable ad units in the process. There's also a good argument to be made that stripping out irritating ads is no different than blocking pop-ups which web browsers have done for years as a way to improve the experience for consumers. Excuse me. But there are drawbacks to building an ad blocker into Chrome, most notably the amount of power it gives Google. Ultimately, it means Google gets to decide what qualifies as an acceptable ad, though it's basing this on standards set collectively by the Coalition for Better Ads. That's a good thing if you trust Google to remain benign and act in everyone's interests. But keep in mind that Google is at its core an ad company. Nearly 89% of its revenue comes from displaying ads. The Chrome ad blocker doesn't just help publishers, it also helps Google maintain its dominance. And it advantages Google's own ad units, which it's safe to say will not be in violation of the bad ad rules. Do you run a website that relies on ads? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll free 1-800-790-0415.
And that's sort of what users have been saying for years. We don't necessarily mind ads in general. It's the annoying ads, the flashing lights and the punch the monkey, and now the video that plays automatically and follows you down the screen, or covers the entire screen so you can't see what you're trying to do.
Yep, I hate all of those, and I don't mind those being blocked, believe me. I do hate going to websites, and you know who you are, most stations, and they're full of ads. It's a whole screen full of ads with a little tiny bit of content in the middle. It's like a frame of ads around a tiny little bit of content in the middle. That works great if you're a placemat. It does not work great for a web page.
Yeah, it belongs in a diner.
Exactly. So at any rate, the idea here is that Google is going to make it harder for the bad ads to get out. And the good news is they are using the Coalition for Better Ads to set the standards for them instead of setting them themselves. But I think it's true that, I suspect if you only use Google Ads as your ad provider, you're going to be fine. I don't think they're going to block any of their own ads. And they've always been very careful. You can only have this many ads on your page. They can only be of this kind. So they've been saying that for years. Now they're going to enforce it in their browser.
Good. And hopefully that will also cut down on the fake ads
Yes.
and malicious ads.
Right. And as we know, Google's Chrome is the number one browser in the market. People know that that's has been the number one browser for a while. In fact, it's got a little over 75% of the web uses Chrome. So whatever they do, they're the big monkey on the block. So the 500-pound gorilla in the corner. So
well, they're giving away so much, and and not worried about like your photos. Offering the space up there for free, doing Google Docs. As long as you save it in the doc format, boom, you can unlimited storage. And even some of my files that I have that were created in Word, I've converted over to Google Docs. And again, not using any storage. Whereas other companies like Microsoft, you got, they're going to ding you with this fee or that fee, and space and all that. And they're doing it right, and they're bringing the people to them.
Yep. I had that argument with somebody the other day. He said, well, Google charges for storage too. Only if you're not using their format.
Yeah.
I'm using their format, and it turns out actually I was kind of surprised. Oh, yeah, okay. I was kind of surprised. I discovered that I was using 3%. This is a little tip, by the way, at drive.google.com. You sign in and you see your drive, and then down on the right you will see the amount of space you're using. And I had been using 3 gig, but then I looked in my trash and realized that it doesn't delete the trash.
Until you tell it to.
Until you tell it to. So I deleted the stuff that was in the trash, and I got back another gig. So I was down from 3 gig to only using 2 gig.
That's...
And they've added a new feature called Quick Access. At the top, the last 4 items that you opened are there. So, I see my Soundbites callers list and my Amazon list and a website where I'm working on stuff that needs to be fixed, and Soundbites news and all that stuff is right there.
And they're doing a lot of the stuff like right now, blocking the ads and all that other stuff, all for the individuals, and just positive all the way around.
Granted, that all helps Google's searching and ad revenue, and I get that, and I don't have a problem with that.
No,
because the data are aggregated and anonymized.
Mm-hmm.
So they know, for example, they go through a list and they see that 2 million people type the word Chevy Camaro into a search engine or into a document or into a spreadsheet. Well, now they know they can go to Chevy and say, we have 2 million people who are interested in your stuff. How about buying an ad? Right? And that's fair. If they want to make money that way on anonymized data, I don't have a problem with that.
No, because they're not reselling.
They don't know it's me.
Yeah, and they don't know you from Joe Blow in Idaho.
Right. Unlike Facebook.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg himself has said privacy is dead, and he has every right to sell all his data to anybody he wants to sell it to. So that's why I'm much more careful about what I post on Facebook than I am about what I put in Google Docs.
Yeah, I've drastically in the past year and 2 years now.
Yep.
Post very little, and because too many folks live their lives there on Facebook. Oh, I'm going here, I'm going there, or doing this, doing that, and it's like, yeah, sometimes that can be too much information that folks are putting out there. And
well, you notice when any one of us is not here, we don't say, Dave went to Connecticut.
Yeah.
We say Dave's one step ahead of the law because you could be home, you could have just taken a day off, you could be homesick, or you could be out somewhere. It's nobody's business where you are.
Well, that's the other thing. Folks will sit there and post, I'm going to, say, a wedding or this or that. And folks know, that house is going to be empty. Or they're going away on vacation. That's the one that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
Is folks will sit there and post, I'm going to, out west for 2 weeks. Well, why don't you just leave the doors unlocked and let, burglars know that, this house is up for grabs.
At the airport heading for Berlin.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hello.
There's a video that I play for my my security class, and it's exactly that. Guy takes a look at, somebody saying, I'm going to Berlin for 2 weeks, and he then gets on any one of a million websites that will tell you somebody's address.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes and watches you leave, and then he breaks in, and he's got 2 weeks before you even know he stole stuff.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the day when two bands of thieves meet each other in somebody's house.
I got here first.
Yeah.
You're right. And they have a shootout or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I read a story about a family was away on vacation, and a moving truck showed up in their driveway and started unloading the house into the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And the neighbors came over and helped. Oh, they're moving? I didn't know that. No, they weren't moving.
Yep, it happens, and we see it more often than not. Now,
and this was pre-internet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now, if you have a relationship with your neighbors, you can say to them, "Look, we're going to be gone for a couple weeks. Can you watch the house? Can you take in the mail? Whatever."
Yeah, my neighbors and I do that all the time.
Yep.
If they're going away, they let me know. When I went away to Arizona, and I let them know. It's back and forth because that's what they used to do a lot back in the old days. Neighbors talk to neighbors, and you watched out for each other.
Our house next door to us was repurchased at some point, and we watched them move in, and they were gone most weekends. We found out they had not yet completely moved in, right? And so that was that's that sort of thing. But one night I saw lights on in the house, so I started to go over, and then I saw through the window that didn't have curtains up yet. It was the guy. So, okay, I was all right with that then. That was fine. But neighbors got to watch out. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. It's 39 minutes after the hour. We are Soundbites on the truly great and truly grateful to be member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by Fairport Canal Days, June 2nd, 3rd, and 4th, featuring 200 artisans, 40 food vendors, and Jazz at Canal Days, with more than 60 groups on 6 stages, including the Dave Mancini Quartet, Madeline Forster, the Ellen Murphy Trio, Watercolors, Vince Ercolamento, and more. For the full schedule, you may visit fairportcanaldays.com.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by City Newspaper. On stands each Wednesday, City Newspaper offers investigative journalism focusing on local, community, and national matters, as well as full-scale restaurant reviews, including information on new restaurant and cafe openings in our area. For more information, you may visit rochestercitynewspaper.com or find them on many newsstands throughout the city.
Are you planning a vacation? Take the great savings you receive with your member card with you. Order a travel card to enjoy 2-for-1 benefits while you're away. Visit membercard.com/jazz901 to order travel cards and pay just a small fee to cover shipping and handling. You can also use the Member Card mobile app to take advantage of benefits at your destination. Don't have a Jazz 90.1 member card? Become a member today at the $90.10 level and above to receive yours.
I'm a college student and could use advice about my student loan.
I had to leave school, but I still have student loans to pay back.
I graduated and got the help I needed to pay back my loan in full.
We're the NFCC, the National Foundation for Credit Counseling, with member offices nationwide that provide comprehensive financial reviews and student loan counseling. Call 877-406-6322 or visit us online at studentloanhelp.org.
As a parent, it's what you do.
You protect your children.
You teach them how to brush their teeth,
how to wash their hands,
to look both ways when crossing the street.
And you vaccinate them.
There wasn't a vaccine to protect against strain B, meningococcal disease, when my daughter died.
When my daughter died.
When my daughter died.
But now there is.
Just get the facts and vaccinate. It's the right thing to do.
The National Meningitis Association website, nmaus.org, has details about the 2 vaccines that protect preteens and teens.
Push, push. You're doing great.
Little pig, let me in.
What are you doing?
Accelerating our baby's brain development?
Now?
Well, research says read from birth, so...
It's never too early to start reading to your baby. 15 minutes a day can give them a head start in school and life. Read aloud 15 minutes. Every child, every parent, every day. Readaloud.org.
My son had a drinking problem at college. I had no idea things could get so much worse, so fast. A friend suggested we try Al-Anon family groups, even though our son claimed his drinking was no big deal. I didn't want to go to an Al-Anon meeting, but I'm sure glad I went. Is someone's drinking troubling you? You might be surprised at what you can learn in an Al-Anon family group from people just like you. Call 1-888-4-AL-ANON or go to alanon.org.
And now your Jazz 90.1 weather.
We should see a considerable amount of sunshine for the day today across Rochester, western New York, and the Finger Lakes. Less wind than what we saw yesterday as well. There's no question that this is the weekend pick, with high temperatures into the middle 60s. We'll find patchy clouds and starlight for the evening, and then overnight an increase in clouds. Low temperatures near 50. Look for showers and a couple of thunderstorms for the day on Sunday. Highs will be into the middle 60s, with additional showers to follow with a northeasterly wind Monday. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
Currently, we've got sunny skies out there, 66 degrees out at the airport, and 71 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hello, this is Paul Conley. Join me early on Monday mornings from 1 a.m. to 6 a.m. on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 44 minutes after the hour, our sound bites. So new analysis suggests that the Chinese-speaking criminals may have been behind the WannaCry ransomware that affected thousands of organizations worldwide. Researchers from Flashpoint looked at the language used in the ransom notice. They said the use of proper grammar and punctuation in only the Chinese version indicated the writer was native or at least fluent in Chinese. The translated versions of the ransom note appear to be mostly machine translated. The WannaCry ransom note could be displayed in 28 different languages, but only the Chinese and English versions appear to have been written by humans. The English text also used some unusual phrases such as, "but you have not so enough time." The WannaCry cyber attack infected more than 200,000 computers in 150 countries, affecting governments, healthcare, and private computer systems. And again, it was mostly Windows 7 machines because they were not protected. The UK's National Crime Agency, the FBI, and Europol are investigating who was responsible for the ransomware. Some earlier analysis of the software had suggested criminals in North Korea may have been behind it, but the Flashpoint researchers noted the Korean language ransom note was a poorly translated version of the English text. It was only really the Chinese and the English versions that appeared to be written by someone that understood the language. The rest appeared to come from Google Translate, even the Korean. The people behind the ransomware had not attempted to retrieve the money the victims had paid into Bitcoin. It's likely that they're keeping a low profile. It's likely that, in fact, that they've run for the hills. Their so-called command and control system, the thing that controls quite a lot of the software, has also been turned off. Excuse me. They know that so many people are watching them now that following the money could lead to their downfall. If they got any sense at all, they'll leave it well alone. So did you get hit? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299, toll-free 1-800-790-0415.
Yeah, we've said that for a while, that one of the ways to determine if a message is real or fake is how bad the grammar is. Now, companies generally have their press department and their legal department look at things before they issue notices. But the often bad grammar, bad spelling, that's a real sure sign that it's not real. In fact, one of the latest scams is we talked about a few weeks ago with the puny code. We got one the other day from PayPal. It looked like PayPal, but it wasn't a P. It was a rho.
Right.
The Greek letter rho, which looks like a P. And then the O in com was actually an alpha. The lowercase alpha looks kind of like an O. So if you look at it pretty close, it looks like PayPal.com. And your browser was conveniently displaying the puny code for you instead of the actual ASCII text, which would have been XN-L612 for left elbow. Yeah.
Well, why don't they change the font then?
While now the browsers have all been updated to ignore the puny code and show you the ASCII because of this exploit.
Yeah. But I it would be easier if they showed us a font that didn't have the Unicode in it, or you could at least choose that for yourself.
Yeah.
So that instead of seeing PayPal, you would see some weird graphic block. For example. And so it's not PayPal.
Again, this is an example of the bad guys usurping something that the good guys needed. There are a lot of non-English character countries out there, that need these what we would consider foreign characters. They're not foreign to them, and so they want their addresses for their companies in their native language, and so
and that's fair.
Yeah.
If your company has a name that's all in Greek, you want that name in Greek as your URL. That's fair.
Yep.
But for the scammers, for those of us who are who are English speakers, we should have at least the option to use a font for the URL only that doesn't show any of those characters.
My Firefox hasn't been updated yet. So it looks like, we posted this link a few weeks ago. It looks like I'm at apple.com and I have a green encryption. But if I look at my security certificate, it will tell me, how do you see the security certificate in Firefox? It will tell me that it isn't really who I think I'm going to.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we did publish that a while ago. So if you're on our website, if you right down near the bottom of the page at the moment, just before May 27th, it says phishing with Unicode domains. And that leads you to an article.
And then if you click that proof of concept button,
Right.
if you see apple.com, then your browser is vulnerable.
Right.
If you see, XN
XN-80AK6AA92E.com.
then your browser is not vulnerable. So Chrome and Safari have been updated. Firefox has not. And since none of us run Windows, we don't know about IE or Edge.
Right. But yeah, it says it's a secure connection.
And it is, because it's a secure encrypted connection to that real domain, the XN something. But if you look really close, you think you're at Apple.
You do. I don't.
Right.
Right.
Well, yeah, Firefox does. Chrome and Safari don't.
Right.
Let's see if
So,
the
yeah,
new
be careful of where you're going and what you're actually looking at, because these things are getting more and more sophisticated. And unless you're up on it, you can get caught fairly quickly. So, if
the latest Firefox is still vulnerable.
Yeah, I don't know. I probably should start bringing my real laptop, I'm afraid.
I just get mad when people say that. This is a real laptop.
No, I meant
you meant your Windows laptop.
Right. I just love this Chromebook so much.
Yeah.
It's so easy to use and so fast and so light, and I don't worry about
it. And it does 99% of the
anything.
stuff you want it to do. So you don't need it to see that your Firefox is not updated.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, what's all it? There's no negatives about it, especially for here.
Right. Well, the negative here is it makes it a little more difficult for me to answer a Windows question.
Get a Chromebook.
Well, yes.
Yeah, that's the answer.
Yes,
Our new answer. Get a Chromebook.
I understand that. That's the new answer.
It used to be run Dance of Security Tango. Now it's get a Chromebook.
But when somebody asks a Windows question, I have to remember it rather than just do it by muscle memory. So I should start.
I probably have a Windows VM on here somewhere. But in addition
there
to
you
the
go.
recording and the video and the streaming, I don't know if I should run a Windows
Maybe you
VM.
shouldn't.
But that's the thing, though. If you go to a lot of the bigger stores now, like I was saying before, you don't see many desktops. There's maybe 3 or 4 desktop units in these big stores. Now everything is gone laptop.
Which to me is, look, if you're going to carry something around, I don't want it to be my main machine. Mm-hmm. That's dangerous.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a desktop, which is much more powerful for the money I spent on it, because you're paying $300 or $400 just to make it portable. And I'd rather put that money into more RAM and more processor power and everything else. And then for carrying around, I have my Chromebook. That makes my life easier.
Yep.
If I lose this Chromebook or it gets stolen, I have lost nothing. And it does everything I need to do when I'm out in the world.
Yeah. I say and once these the apps come out,
right,
it's going to do even more. But even right now, I mean, the Chromebook, folks, you can sit there and you can edit photos and everything else. It's all up there in the Google Store. Virtually just about anything that you want to do with your laptop, you can do. But it doesn't have a CD-ROM drive. What do you need it for?
Most Windows and Mac laptops don't have CD drives anymore. If you really need one, get an external.
Right. I have done video editing. I have done audio editing. I've done pretty much everything I ever wanted to do on this Chromebook without any problems. Now, I have a couple of Chromebooks. One has 2 gig of RAM and a slower processor because it's older. One has 4 gig of RAM and a newer processor because it's newer. Mm-hmm. And certainly I can do some things faster on the newer one.
Yeah.
But most things it doesn't matter because it's really happening up in the cloud.
Mm-hmm.
I can open more tabs on the one with more memory.
Yeah, because it's got more horsepower.
I've had 27, 28 tabs open at once.
Mm-hmm.
But and on the smaller one, if I open 10, it starts to get a little laggy. But how many times do you generally, when you're out and about in the world, have 10 tabs open?
Yeah, no.
Yes, on my desktop at home, absolutely all the time. But that's a different machine, and it's a much more powerful machine, and it stays in my house. Whereas the Chromebook can come with me, and it doesn't need to have that kind of power because all I'm going to do is stuff on it that will then be up in the cloud anyway, and I can access perfectly easily when I get home.
And for those of you that are still running Firefox, on the article we talked about on our page on the Punycode attack, there is a setting inside Firefox where you can turn off Punycode. So
Nice.
So you can mitigate the problem.
Turn on Minicode, you mean? The Punycode.
You set the disabled to true.
Right. Okay. Oh no! All right, we're done for another week. I want to thank Dave Enright and Steve Ray and everybody who called in. I'm Nick Francesco. Don't go away. George is coming in to play the best German music you'll hear all week. Michael's here to keep him on the straight and narrow, or at least as much as he can. Michael's not really Superman. I don't know if you knew that. And we'll be back in next week with a whole lot more of the longest-running computer show in the known universe. That's right, it's Soundbites on the truly great and solely member-supported Jazz 90.1. We will see you in 166 hours.
Here are the Jazz 90.1 Club calendar highlights for Saturday, June 3rd. Jimmy Highsmith Jr. plays at the French Quarter tonight from 8 to 11. Aaron